Ignition, ignition. It will be hot and not so fresh out of the kitchen. Well, it will be fresh, but it will be fresh coffee, but obviously coffee's not exactly fresh produce, so it's just going to be hot out of the kitchen. So anyway, so it's just going to be hot out of the kitchen. So as you can see, I've got the kettle boiling behind me, and today I thought I'd walk you through the human fuel. So I will bring you a video as well discussing the horses' feeds and how we make those. But what about us? What do we feed ourselves? I mean, we don't actually feed ourselves, we just drink coffee throughout the day. Partially because Tracy's an old person, so she now does struggle to eat her solids. Therefore, we've had to switch to liquids. Sorry about my malfunction there. Sometimes the brain doesn't quite connect to the mouth, so a little bit of a struggle. But anyway, allow me to demonstrate to you. Unpopular opinion, but butter is good in coffee. Now that's a bit of a too big bit, so I'll just condense it a little bit, and I'm not actually going to touch it because guess who hasn't washed her hands? That's still too big, sorry guys. Oh my god, I just said guys, that is actually repulsive. There we go, in it goes. I might put another little bit in as well. There we go. So the butter is in there now. See, very hygienic. The way I see it though, I'm actually strengthening all of our immune systems, because guess what? Dirt is good, Dettol is bad. Because those of you, I don't know if you have Dettol in the US or elsewhere in the global universe, the world, but Dettol is basically a brand of cleaning product. And you know, yes, we do need things to be cleanly, but too much cleanliness is bad for us as people. We need the dirt too, which is what I bring to the table. So butter in the jug, and the butter we use is this butter. So this is grass-fed. The malfunction's happening again. Grass-fed butter, which means the cows that the milk came from to make this butter only eat grass, so they don't eat any grains or cereals or anything like that, to make it super clean. And the reason why we have grass-fed butter is because grains and cereals are actually really bad for us, or at least that's what we have come to learn. I mean, this from the education sources and the people that we've met over the years. Although saying that, you know, the health world is a very controversial place, and yeah, there's so many contradictory bits of advice out there, but this is the advice we choose to follow, and that's that cereals and grains are rather inflammatory. Therefore, even having cows that eat the cereals and the grains, because then that's where the milk comes from, that milk is then going to have kind of traces of that in, if that makes sense, because you are what you eat, therefore the cow's milk is what the cows eat. But it completely depends how far you want to take it. I mean, I personally at home, the butter I use isn't completely grass-fed, but you know, I guess it's just at least cutting out where you can grains and cereals from your diet, if that's what you choose to do. And sometimes I don't do that. I don't follow this as much to a T as Tracy does, but I'm digressing a little bit. Let me tell you the rest of the story. The next step is using the little coffee scooper and putting the coffee in the cafetiere. So ordinarily we use Bulletproof, but for Christmas we got an excellent Christmas hamper which had this coffee in. So I thought we could try this today because I think it's got notes of like chocolate and stuff in, so that'd be really nice. But just any ground coffee that is free of mycotoxins is excellent, because most coffee out there kind of has mold and mycotoxins in it. So Bulletproof we know is free, and there's also other brands out there that are free from that. It's just doing your research before you buy. And then obviously you just add water. Yay! And then I'll leave this to brew for about 3 minutes. You can leave it for longer than that if you want it stronger, but at least 3 is kind of all it takes. It's got its little hat on now. Next up to the jug we have the MCT oil, and I think it's roughly kind of a teaspoon kind of per cup if you're going to make this yourself, but you might even want to start out with half a teaspoon, just because obviously if your body is not used to processing as many fats as this has in it, it can be quite a lot for your body to like handle. And you can kind of build up to the teaspoon, but I'm just going to guesstimate because, you know, very scientific. Yeah, maybe a bit more. Beautiful. And this MCT oil, it's really good. It just basically, it's really good for kind of filling you up and gradually releasing energy throughout the day. So it's all derived from coconuts, and ideally you want to find a brand that's completely clean. So you can see this one, it's non-GM, which means it's non-genetically modified. And then the last thing I've added to my jug is this, which is collagen peptides. So collagen, it's a good source of protein, you know, for muscle growth and repair. It's also good for the skin and just health in general. So we add this, and again, it's by the Bulletproof brand, which means that it's grass-fed, pasture-raised, and there's no additives in it, so that's really good. And the whole point of this, so once everything's finished brewing, you can see the coffee's still brewing there, I'm going to pour the coffee into my little jug with my butter, collagen and MCT oil in. Then I'm going to blend it with a blend jet. And what this coffee means is it saves us having to eat meals throughout the day, because I know, especially in Western culture, it's instilled in us that you need to eat 3 square meals a day, otherwise you're going to die. Actually, fasting is really, really exceptionally good for you if it's done in the right way. Especially being a woman, fasting for us is different for men, because we have to work around our menstrual cycle, whereas men, you cycle 24 hours a day, so you can effectively fast more than we can in some ways. I'm not going to go into the whole science of it now, but basically as a woman, when we start our period, that's when we can really fast, because that's when certain amount of our hormones are lower, so we're effectively more like a man there. And then even for the week after our period, we're still in a good place to fast, but maybe the next couple of weeks, especially the week right before your period, that's when your body's, you know, kind of, it needs the food and the fuel a bit more, so you can't fast for as long. Whereas men, you don't have these cycles, so you can fast pretty much all the time. I mean, it's not a topic I know loads and loads about. Tracy and Jodie are more the fasting experts, yeah, over there, more about it than me. I'm just making a coffee video so our people can see, and explaining about the fasting and how it provides us fuel so we don't have to eat, and how we've been taught that we need to eat 3 meals a day when we're gonna die, but actually fasting is really good for us.
Yeah, no, definitely, because I see it as, I think I've heard you say that like women need to like work their cycle, and I think that's where you need to learn to accept, to like listen to your body.
Yeah.
So like there's certain times where I know I'm more hungry, but it's then eating stuff that's going to give you fuel rather than just eating like sweet stuff or crisps or whatever.
Going for quality nutrition.
My go-to thing is like beetroot.
Yeah, oh, I like the one that's been like vinegar or mint.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, then I put like sesame seeds on it.
Oh, goat cheese. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
Dark chocolate as well.
Yeah, dark chocolate's great. You know,
because it's, I don't know, it's like pushing through it, isn't it? I think this time of year,
it's
like
hard.
Everybody like is overindulged, and then it's almost like your body switched back to this like sweet addiction.
Yeah.
And then it's not actually that you need it; it's just that you've got used to eating it again. But then once you've got back into that routine and like pushed through a bit, and I know myself, what I need to do is like a gut reset fast. So
Same.
like go for like 36 hours or more, because it's unbelievable the difference. Like once you've done that, you feel like just so different in your brain and your body.
Because by fasting in the right times and in the right way, you start like resetting your gut microbes, and then they then start, and your gut starts repairing itself. Because think about it, if you're constantly eating, your body's then always digesting even between meals, and then you're not giving your gut a time to like recover between. And you know, going back to primal times, we were a feast or fast society. There wasn't like, you know, cave people didn't have access to a fridge and like crisps and cupboards, so you know,
definitely
we are designed to go periods without food.
Yeah, because even it's like on a usual routine, like we mostly won't eat much through the day, and then it's good to mix it up, isn't it? Like say at the weekend you'll have a day where you eat a bit more, because I think sometimes your body can get so used to it that you just become like, you don't lose any more weight, or you don't build up any more power, or like because you're just sort of ticking over. Whereas I think that's where you do the extended ones, it kind of switches it up, and like if you are looking to lose weight, it just, that kind of sends you further.
Because I think that's where you at first, let's say you followed the same fasting routine all of the time, there's no metabolic flexibility there, which is what helps you weight loss and recover, is because your body needs to be exposed to small stresses in order to actually ironically heal itself. So by switching up your fasting routine, you can keep the metabolic flexibility there.
And I think it also, I think what I've learned as well is that obviously as women at certain times in your cycle you can't go into that like stress state, because like I think especially if you're trying to like produce progesterone, you're not meant to really go into that high stress state, so you're meant to like refeed your body, aren't you, for like a week to try and refeed, and then you can go right back to fasting again.
Yeah.
So it is just like mixing up, and I've only really learned that the last few months by reading a book by Mindy
Pelz.
Because I'd never like realised that women have to do it slightly different to
Yeah,
men.
because I think in the health world, women are the research in women is definitely catching up. But up until these last few years, I think it had predominantly been done surrounding men, and women are so different to men because we obviously have all the hormones that come attached with us, you know.
Yeah,
we're not just
these. It's almost like working with them, not against them.
Yeah,
and it can like work to your advantage at times. But I guess the whole end goal of, not the end goal, but the whole point of all this isn't just to like lose loads of weight and be super lean. Like that's great, but it's actually being healthy and like active and like being able to do the best, like especially you know, working with the horses and the animals and being outside. Like you want to have energy and feel good, and it's,
bringing out the best of you. I think because I think in the health industry and weight loss, everyone goes there, I need to be skinny, I need to lose weight, and actually it's not about losing weight for how you look, it's about how you feel.
Yeah, definitely.
And not just how you feel physically, but mentally, and what your body can do internally in terms of healing itself, rather than just going, I aspire to be a stick person.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
because it's like everybody gets ill or like has times where they eat a bit more or they just don't feel great, but you can then use like fasting as a tool to like try and fix yourself, which is great. But yeah, I know what you mean about the whole like it in some like books and stuff you read, it's very like male based.
Yeah.
I think I originally read like the Bulletproof Diet when we started like the whole coffee, and like that's really good that there is a section where it talks about like the difference between men and women.
Yeah.
But it's it even says like sometimes women that do it too hard, they even stop cycling because like their body's in like a state of stress because obviously your reproductive system isn't going to work when you're in like a state of like famine. So it's like, I don't know, it's like getting that balance, isn't it? But I guess for me personally, all I want to do is just feel healthy and feel as great as I can, and I know at the minute I'm not at that point.
I know what you mean. It's like, I know for me, I know that like neither of us are fat, far from it, but it's that feeling if you know you can be leaner than you are at the moment.
You feel like swollen.
Yeah.
Like even I know that in my face, but I mean that's again like in the winter you get colds and bugs and stuff, but I just think when you hit that peak, like I probably did 2 years ago, where I felt great.
Oh yeah, you were absolutely shredded. Like you could see all your biceps and everything. Yeah, Jodie, she'd never admit it, but you do have the best biceps.
Not at the minute, they're covered up because I got my phone. But yeah, it's almost like I remember when I first started doing it, and then somebody said to me like, I've always been quite strong as a person, but like it's like always been like hidden, like under like swelling, because I always used to have a lot of like inflammation anyway, not just fat but swelling as well. It's almost like you know what your potential is, and you know it's there, it's just getting there and trying to do it in a way that's like sustainable, because I think a lot of people see it as like a bit of a crash diet, but I don't see it like that at all, because it's almost like I found as well, the more you do it and the better you eat, the more you crave those foods. Yes. And don't crave all the crap.
And I think that thing is feeding the good microbes instead of the shit ones. Because when you eat sugar, you're feeding... Oh, sorry, I just swore. The bad microbes. And if you're a child, do not repeat that word I just said, beginning with S. It's a bad person
really,
word.
Really bad.
It is, yes. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to blend the coffee now before it gets cold. Thank you.
We literally talked for hours about this.
Yeah, thank you too. And also, you know, we want to give you a brief overview on what this is and why we do it, but if you want to get into it yourself, please do the research, because obviously we are not nutritionists or doctors or like qualified to advise on this, but we're just telling you what we do. But a good place to start is if you're a woman, is Dr. Mindy Pelz, Bulletproof. I think there's a book, is it Deep Nutrition?
Oh yeah, that's a good one, but that's very in-depth. It's not quite as like easy to absorb.
No,
what is it, 2 meals a day? That's really good.
Mark Sisson as well. there's so many good resources out there, and it's finding what works best for you. But yeah, we find that fasting and drinking our coffee with the butter in and the clean protein and MCT oil helps us. It basically replaces the meals, because we are fueled off fat instead of the carbohydrates we'd get if we ate something like a sandwich for lunch, which actually doesn't sustain you for as long necessarily, because okay, a sandwich, it might have butter and cheese in it, which is good, but if your bread is full of kind of wheat and gluten, it's just kind of gonna weigh you down and make you feel bloated.
I think that was something I read the other day, because I'd started listening to it again as a bit of an inspiration. But it's like a lot of people go for carbs first thing in the morning, but then apparently that is just basically telling your body to store it as fat. Whereas you should, like, a lot of people obviously don't want to miss breakfast, which a lot of people don't. They have breakfast and like their evening meal, but even if you have like protein first thing in the morning, it's like getting everything like.
And I think that's the thing, even if you're someone that thinks, oh my god, I could never fast, you don't have to fast if you don't want to. It's just going, okay, well, maybe if I can make, you know, fit all my meals into a smaller eating window, or make those meals cleaner, like being more conscious about your nutrition. But anyway,
like slowly. I think that's how I did it at first. Like, I'd have a little bit like of like bacon, eggs, something first thing, and then I'd wait till I got home, and then it gradually like you just slowly, like, your body, some days you'll think, oh my god, I'm not hungry. And you don't see that. Obviously there's people that have eating disorders, and that's awful, and it's not, that isn't the goal to like, not eat. It's like, I don't want to eat anything. It's not that. It's about eating at the right time, and when
it's
like,
to benefit your body instead of punish yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
I guess we've all been guilty of that at times.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, I think that's the thing about this year with this channel, is we can discuss other aspects of our life with you and share more about this nutrition, because it's helped us a lot, and we want to help you out as well. But obviously, like I've just said, and I will keep on saying it, is we are not qualified to preach about these things. So if you want to do it, do your own research and do it at your own discretion, and, you know, don't rush into it. And it's a journey, and go for sustainability instead of instant results, and think of overall wellness rather than weight loss. So yeah, I'm going to go and blend our liquid fuel now. I've said as well, we've had to switch to liquids because Tracy's getting old and she struggles to, you know, chew solids.
We have to have a hand blender all the time.
Yeah, you know.
Even for the chocolate.
She has to have everything liquefied. I probably shouldn't make jokes about this sort of stuff. If you are at a stage in your life where you have to have everything liquefied, you are an absolute inspiration. It's not funny, and I'm sorry to hear that, but for the sake of today, when Tracy has to do it, it's funny.
It's just our dark humour.
But if it offends you, we are genuinely sorry about that. Like, genuinely. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna blend. Wee! And behind me here is the end result. So the one with the bird on at the end, that's tea for Chris Alfario. He's a lost cause because it's got a spoonful of sugar in there. But this is ours, so you can see it's nice and frothy and nice and nutritious. So thank you for listening along to a little insight as to what we eat here. We'll hopefully bring you more throughout the rest of this year. But like I said, and I'll keep on saying it, we are not qualified to talk about this. It's just what we do ourselves. So if you'd like to try it, please, please, please do your research. Don't just try it because you've heard us say it, you know. And as well, I'm aware that, you know, not everyone can follow this diet due to health reasons, so please don't feel offended or attacked if you're unable to. But other than that, have a great day, everyone, and our day is about to improve because we're going to consume some caffeine. And also, caffeine itself is quite a controversial thing within the health industry. Some people say it's fine, others say it's not. I think a lot of it comes down to personal, you know, how it affects your body and what your body tells you.